Okay, Leslie, we are moving to page 4 of Form 433A. This is actually the last section of 433A that an individual wage earner needs to fill out. So let's go through that. First of all, wages. How do I compute my wages?
We came up with a form. It's called the Tax Freedom Toolbox Income and Expense Guide.
Okay.
We're hoping that this will make it easier for you, Rick, because people are paid in different ways. Weekly, every 2 weeks, twice a month, or monthly. If you follow the form, it should be fairly self-explanatory.
Okay, let's open up the form and go to this. Now you can fill this form out online, or you can print it and just fill it out by hand.
What I'd like you to do is first determine how you're paid.
The way I'm paid right now is I'm paid every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks I get a paycheck.
People get confused whether it's twice a month or every 2 weeks, okay? Twice a month literally means twice a month.
That's like on the 5th and the 20th?
Yes, or on the 1st and the 15th. It means you only get paid twice a month. Every 2 weeks has a little bit different multiplier, Rick, because every once in a while there's a month that has 5 weeks.
So my multiplier is 2.17, and I just enter my gross pay, multiply it out, and that becomes my monthly gross.
Correct.
Okay, now second employer, that's if you have a part-time job or you're working 2 jobs.
Absolutely, and people with problems lots of times do have 2 jobs. So if you have a second job, first employer is your main job, second employer is, as it states, and other might be some other source of income that you get.
So my first employer, I'm paid every 2 weeks. Second employer, I'm paid weekly. It's just a small part-time job. Multiply those out. Other income. Personally, I don't have any other sources of income. So that line just gets left blank, and we total those up, enter those on line 20 on Form 433A.
Correct.
Now I see on the worksheet there's a space for spouse wages. So we follow exactly the same procedure for the spouse?
Exactly.
That's simple enough. Line 22, interest and dividends. What is that?
Very simply, the interest that you receive, and you will find that on your bank statement. A dividend you might find on a investment statement.
Okay, so interest is just interest and dividends that come from my bank statement or any investment statements that I have.
That's correct.
Okay. And this is monthly, correct?
Yes, the monthly amount.
Net business income.
Well, just like the form says, NA, that means non-applicable. If you have a business income stream, you should not be using this particular toolbox.
Net rental income. Now, we talked a little bit before about rental income. Is that where this goes?
That's exactly where that goes.
Okay, net means after expenses, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so I might need some professional assistance figuring that out.
I do believe that in this particular case, you should probably ask for some agent assistance on that.
If you're retired, I see there's a section down here, 26 and 27 is retirement, pension and Social Security for the taxpayer and the spouse. I notice there are no multipliers for pension and retirement, and there's a little line that says pension and retirement are usually paid monthly.
That's correct. I have always noticed that pension, Social Security, and all of the retirement income that I have ever dealt with in my negotiations has been monthly. If for some reason you are paid twice, then of course put it in there twice.
Again, this is just a simple total. We add our pension, our Social Security, any other retirement income that we get.
Yeah, the total per month.
Okay, and then we enter that on line 26, and for the spouse, we enter that on line 27.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, and so after line 27, pension and Social Security for the spouse, we have line 28, child support.
Well, child support is the child support that you receive, the child support that comes into your household. On this left-hand side, total income has nothing to do with the child support that you pay out.
And then line 29, alimony, that's the same, it's money that is being paid into our family.
That's correct, Rick. And sometimes alimony and child support can be commingled, and that's called family support, I believe. If you're unsure, contact your attorney. Look at your paperwork.
Okay, line 30, other, rent, subsidy, oil credit, etc.
Oh, that has nothing to do with us right now. That'll be talked about in more complex toolboxes, and this is a very basic toolbox.
Okay. Now, other, line 31, other. Is that any other income that comes into the family?
You need to think about a steady source of income that comes in every month. I have seen when one parent is deceased and there's a child who receives Social Security, any other income that comes into your household needs to go there. The Internal Revenue Service will have you specify that at a later date.
Okay. So then line 32 is just the total income. We just add up all the numbers, enter it on line 32.
Correct.
Now let's talk about living expenses here. We've got food and clothing, housing and utilities, vehicle ownership costs, operating expenses, public transportation, health insurance. It just goes on and on. How do you calculate these values?
I don't want you to go back for the last 3 months and try to find your grocery receipts because it's irrelevant. The IRS has what they call a national standard. The national standard is set by the city you live in, the state, and the county. It's set by how many people in your household. I want you to go to the national standard. And I'm
Okay.
sorry if you spend more. You can only put down the national standard.
Okay. Well, that actually makes this part of the form much easier.
Yes, it does. We're going to use the National Standard booklet for 33. Food and clothing has a national standard. We're going to put one amount in there based on our personal criteria. Housing and utilities, national standards. We're going to put that there also, okay? Vehicle ownership costs. You're going to find standards for those also. Now, health insurance, there isn't a standard for health insurance. That's line 38. If you pay $900 a month for your family, you get $900 a month for your family.
If I'm employed, then this amount is my contribution that's listed on my pay stub.
Yes, what you're going to do is you're going to take this health insurance. If it comes out twice a month, you're going to put that cumulative figure right here.
Out-of-pocket health care costs. Does that come from the national standards, or is that something we have to keep records for?
No, I want you to keep records of this now. And this is going to sound a little bit peculiar, but let's say that someone in your family has asthma, somebody has high blood pressure. Now, they're going to give you actual here, Rick. You get to deduct all of that.
Court-ordered payments. That's if I have subject to a lawsuit or something like that.
Well, a court-ordered payment could be court-ordered child support on one side. That's a court-ordered payment, isn't it? But you might also have another court-ordered payment that's coming out of your paycheck on the other side. So it gets confusing. And remember, Rick, if you have a court-ordered payment, they want to see the court order with this.
Okay, so again, copies of everything. Child and dependent care. Is that based on national standards?
Well, it's not, because it does vary from state to state. You know, in Louisiana, they pay a lot less for child care than we do in San Francisco.
Life insurance. Those are premiums that you are paying. Is that both whole life and term insurance? That
Yes,
all
it
life?
is. Yes, it is.
Okay, that's all life insurance payments.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Let's talk about line 43, taxes, income, and FICA.
This is where people, if they're going to have a problem, it's going to be right here. The things that come out of a paycheck in the form of taxes are FICA, FICA Medicare, income tax. If you live in a state that has state income tax, that will also come out of your paycheck. Then there are a few of us who live in states who have a local tax. In the state of California, we call that SDI. Other states have other names for it. Under other taxes, you use that as your local tax. Now, if you have a problem with this, you can call in. Just ask us a question. We read paychecks every day.
Okay, so if we go to the guide, this is all broken down very simply. We have taxpayer FICA, taxpayer Social Security, but those may be combined on your paycheck.
Correct.
So you may only have one line that says
Correct.
FICA. This is a simple case of just filling in the blanks and running a total. We have one of these for each of our paychecks. First employer, second employer, and also for the spouse. And we enter all of our taxes. All the taxes that we pay are entered on line 43 once we run the total.
Correct.
And on the form, what we would total would be the total of paycheck 1, the total of paycheck 2, total of paycheck 3, total of paycheck 4. So we enter that to line 43. Line 44 is other secured debts. I belong to a union. What about my union dues?
Other really does mean other deductions from a paycheck. I would like you to put your union vacation, your union dues, all of those types of things in the other category because they really do come out of your paycheck and you really do get a deduction for that, Rick. But what you have to remember is they are subject to the multiplier.
All right, so as we turn to page 3 on the income and expenses guide, I see we have a place for those missing items on my paycheck. The 401k, the union vacation. And it looks like the multipliers are the same. So again, it's just a matter of picking the correct multiplier, entering the amounts, and running a total.
What we're trying to determine here, Rick, really, in all of the mumbo jumbo that we keep saying using multipliers, we just really want to know how much gross do you make a month, and how much do they take out of your check in taxes, and how much do they take out of your check in other. That's really what we're looking for. We're looking for the net paycheck.
Okay, well, that should do it then. We will just add up the numbers here. We now have our total income and we have